Shalom, brothers and sisters, family and friend. Once again, bringing you another awesome lesson on the behalf of Solid Foundation Israelite Academy. I am your host, Shabar Judah Israel. Please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys for tuning in, sacrificing your time once again to be edified. The topic of discussion today, the question is concerning Cain and Abel. So let me type that in, guys. We type Cain and Abel in. Cain and Abel. Was Cain and Abel the only two in the beginning of times? Was Cain and Abel the only two in the beginning of times? Remember, a picture speaks 1,000 words. But if this picture is not correct, these 1,000 words is vanity. These 1,000 words are deceit. So many of us have been led to believe that Cain and Abel just was two individuals. Cain and Abel was just two individuals. Was Cain and Abel actually two individuals, or was Cain and Abel two individual nations? Okay, let me show you guys. You see this, stuff like this. This is what the Christian church, once again, taught us coming up. All right, let me slide myself over here. The Christian church taught us this. So I grew up in the Christian church. Basically, I spent 26 years of my life in the Christian church before I even came into the knowledge of the truth. So I know that the Christian church have heavily influenced people to believe such. Cain and Abel was two individuals in the Garden of Eden. Also, they say that Adam and Eve was the only people during that time, but that's not correct. But I'm going to stick to Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel, however, was not Caucasian, was not pale skinned at all. You should know that Cain and Abel was carbonated people, dark skinned people. That is to say, black people. But did Cain, like I said, Cain and Abel, was they two individuals, or did Cain represent a nation and Abel represented a nation? Well, you're going to discover the truth on today, because they show you this right here. They show you this right here, and we take this and run with it, thinking that Cain killed Abel. We thinking that an individual Cain killed the individual Abel. But when Cain killed Abel, guys, there was a nation of people that killed another nation of people. Like, I'm going to show you an example in the Bible. When it says Cain killed Abel, let's go into that. Because it's not what you see here. It's not two individuals. It's not one particular man that kills another man. It's not like that. When Cain killed Abel in the Bible, basically it was a nation of people known as the Cainites, which killed another nation of people, which was known as the Abelites. So the Cainites killed the Abelites. So the Bible should have mentioned it this way. The Cainites killed the Abelites. But the Bible just says Cain killed Abel. Got you thinking that it's two individual people. See that? So we'll go into the Bible and to state this claim, use scripture for support. So here we go, guys. Let's go into the Bible. Let's take a look at the book of Genesis. All right. And we will start from, let's see, on the account of Cain killing Abel. So let's go ahead and start from Genesis and 4. Genesis chapter 4, guys. Let's go there. Genesis chapter 4, verse 1. It says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. So in the Bible, you can see that Eve conceived and bare Cain. She said, I've gotten a man from the Lord. So we know what makes a nation a people. What makes a nation a people? Before there can be a nation of people, you have to have a progenitor. What is a progenitor? A progenitor is a forefather that creates a nation of people. So who created the Canaanite nation? It was Cain. So Cain was the progenitor of the Canaanites. All the Canaanites, the descendants, all the Canaanites derived from Cain. So we can see in Genesis 4:1 that Adam knew Eve, his wife. She conceived and bare Cain, which was the firstborn son of Adam and Eve. And from Cain, Cain being the progenitor, the forefather, from Cain became the Cainites. When Cain had children, his descendants were addressed as the Cainites. Genesis 4:2. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. So once again, her second born child was Abel. When Eve conceived again, she brought forth the brother of Cain, which was Abel. So Abel was the youngest. Cain was the eldest. Cain was the progenitor of the Cainites, and Abel was the progenitor of the Abelites. Remember, guys, before there can be any nation, you have to have a progenitor. So Cain and Abel was conceived of Eve. Okay, and Cain being the forefather or the progenitor of the Cainites, and Abel being the forefather or the progenitor of the Abelites. So Cain brought forth the Canaanite nation, and Abel brought forth the Abelite nation. See that? Genesis 4:2. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was the tiller of the ground. Watch this, guys. Genesis 4:3. And in process of time, it came to pass. So right here in Genesis 4:3, it skips. It's like a time machine. It skips in the time because it said in the process of time. So it's fast forwarding in time right here. Cain and Abel are no longer little boys. Cain and Abel has became adults. Cain and Abel has met women and had many descendants. That's why it says in Genesis 4:3, in the process of time, it came to pass. So now we can see in Genesis 4:3, you're not only dealing with Cain as an individual that came from Eve. You're not only dealing with Abel as an individual that came from Eve. You're dealing with now in Genesis 4:3, it says in the process of time, it came to pass. Now it's skipping into time. Now, around this time, Cain has brought forth many descendants. Cain has brought forth many descendants now. And now you have what you call the Canaanite nation. Abel has brought forth many descendants now. And now what you have is the Abelite nation. That's why I said in the process of time, because it didn't tell you between actually what was going on. It skipped. It fast forwarded in time. So now, during this time, it's many Canaanites on the earth and there's many Abelites on the earth that came from Cain and Abel. In the process of time, it came to pass that it should have said right here in Genesis 4:3, the Cainites brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord. Genesis 4:4. It should have been stated, and the Abelites. And Abelites. He also brought, and the Abelites also brought of the firstlings of the flock of the fat. See? So the Abelites brought 10% of their first. We know today that is known as the Feast of First Fruits. So the Abelites also brought of the firstlings of their flock, should have been their flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto the Abelites and to their offerings. That's how it should have been written. Genesis 4:5. But unto the Cainites and to his offspring, see that? See? But unto Cain and his offspring, not offspring, sorry, but into the Cainites and his offerings, it should have been, but into the Cainites and their offerings, he had not respect. See, and the Cainites was very wroth, and their countenance fell. That's how it should have been written. Genesis 4:6. And the Lord said unto the Cainites, why art thou wroth? Why is your countenance fallen? Genesis 4:7. If you guys does well, basically, shall you not all be accepted? And if thou does not well, sin lies at the door. And until you all should have been stated, shall be the Abelites' desire. And you all shall rule over him. So basically what the Most High was saying to the Cainites, if you guys do well, like the Abelites are doing, should you not all be accepted? But if you do not well, sin lied at all you guys' doors. And unto all of you shall be his desire. See that? If, and to all of you, and to thee, shall be his desire. Meaning, talking about the Abelites. And thou shalt rule over him. That's only if the Cainites does well. If the Cainites does well in the eyes of the Lord, they would be given the power to rule over the Abelites. But we know that the Cainites didn't do well in the eyes of the Lord. And so he said that if they don't do well, sin lies at the door. Genesis 4:8. And the Cainites, supposedly been stated, talked with the Abelites, their brother. That's how it's supposed to be truly written. And the Cainites talked with the Abelites, their brothers. And it came to pass when they were in the field. Now the field is the world. That's what the field is. Like the Messiah stated, the field is the world. When they was in the field, in the world, that the Cainites rose up against Abelites, and which were their brothers, and they slew them. So you had a war going on. It was just not two individual. It was not two individual men. It wasn't no individual Cain, and it was not no individual Abel. Cain and Abel was referred to two nations, just like Esau and Jacob. So you had a war in Genesis 4:8 going on. The Cainites rose against the Abelites, and they slew a lot of Abelites. It was not just two men, guys. It was not this here. It was not this. Don't get hung up in this. It was not this. It was not like an individual Cain killing an individual Abel. It was not that. Not that at all. Cain and Abel was two nations. One nation known as the Cainites and another nation known as the Abelites. And so when Cain rose up against Abel, it was not two individuals like you see here. Not two individuals like this. Just vision. Just can you visualize a nation of Cain's descendants? So the Cainites rose against the Abelites. A nation of people rose against another nation of people. You had the Cainites and the Abelites. What did the Cainites do to the Abelites? The Cainites killed a lot of Abel's descendants. So they will want you, the elites, give you these false images. The people that control the media and the books, the elites, they give you these false images because they want you to believe that in the beginning of time, that it was two individuals, that an individual Cain killed the individual Abel. So you wouldn't realize who is still doing the killing today, because Cain is still killing the Abelites today. The Cainites are still killing the Abelites. So they did it this way. So if someone asked the question, who was the first murderer in the earth? You would say, oh, it was Cain. He was the first murderer in the earth. He's dead and gone now. That happened like 4,000 years ago. Not knowing that the Cainites are still killing the Abelites today. Who is the Cainites today? The Cainites today is the Edomites today. And the Abelites today is the Israelites today. And the Edomites today are still killing the Israelites, the chosen people today. Before there was Edomites and Israelites, backing up, there was Cainites and Abelites. So when you guys look around and you see the police brutality carried out on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, those policemen are the Cainites, aka Edomites, that's still killing the Abelites, aka Israelites. So Cain is still killing Abel to this day, just in a different format. So don't think it was just two individuals in a field. Don't think it was just two individuals. No, when it mentions Cain, it mentions a whole nation of his people, the Cainites. And when it mentions Abel, it mentions a whole nation of his people, the Abelites. So Cain did kill Abel. The Bible says that Cain killed Abel, but it was not two individuals. However, it was a nation of Cainites that murdered the nation of Abelites. All right? Just like you see today, man. Cain and Abel in the reincarnation became Esau and Jacob, or what you call Edom or Israel. So just like you see her today, man, let me show you something. Let's type in Eric Gardner. Know y'all guys know of him. All right. I'm just going to bring up a brief illustration to state my claim, man. You see this? The death of Eric Gardner. Those are the Cainites that's still to this day killing the Abelites. You guys, does it make sense now? You see that? Those are the Cainites today that's still killing the Abelites. So today, you wouldn't even visualize that Cain is still killing Abel. If you continue to stick on two individuals, if you believe just two people was in the field. No, the Cainites was a nation of people and the Abelites was a nation of people. And when you look around today, you will still see those Cainites killing those Abelites. We just not known as Cain and Abel no more. Cain became Esau, aka Edom, in the reincarnation, and Abel became Israel. Abel became Jacob, aka Israel, in the reincarnation. So Cain and Abel is Esau and Jacob reincarnated. I just want to put that out, guys. You see? So they say enough is enough. Justice for Eric Garner. Okay, let's put it on a biblical scale. Justice for our Abelites. Justice for one of our Abelite brothers. Justice for the Abelites. Because Eric Garner would be considered an Israelite. Because if you are Negro, African ancestry, what you call Negroid, Native American, or Hispanic ancestry. If you are Negroid, Hispanic, and Latino Native American ancestry, you are known as an Israelite. So we know that Eric Gardner was an Israelite. But who was on the scene before the Israelites? The Abelites was on the scene before the Israelites. You see, who was on the scene before the Edomites, which are the so-called white people? The Cainites was on the scene before the Edomites. So these just ancient names. So if you go all the way back 4,000 years ago, it would be justice for Abelites. We want justice for our Abelite brother, which was Eric Garner. But today, Eric Garner is known as an Israelite. You see that? Now, who killed Eric Garner? The Edomites killed Eric Garner, choked him out. He kept telling the Edomites that he couldn't breathe. He kept telling these devils that he couldn't breathe. All right? So who are the Edomites in the ancient times that killed Eric Garner, which was an Israelite? They are the Cainites. Guys, that's what I'm trying to get you to see. It was not just Cain and Abel in the garden. Cain and Abel in the garden was two nations. Cain represented the Cainites. Abel represented the Abelites. And what you see right here, Cain is still killing Abel. But they don't want you to see that. That's why they put it like two individuals. So if you're looking at actually two individuals, man, in the garden, you wouldn't see Cainites still killing Abelites to this day. This is what I'm trying to get over to you guys. All right? So hopefully I'm making sense here. So when you see this right here, wait a minute. Let me go back up. Let's go to images. Let's go to images, guys. So when you see this right here, guys, when you see this right here, that ain't nothing but police brutality. That ain't nothing but blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as the Abelites, which eventually became the Israelites. And when you see Cain on the top, violently brutalizing and beating, that is in reference to the Cainites, which became the Edomites in the reincarnation. You see that? So when Cain killed Abel, Cain is still killing Abel. That's police brutality. That's policemen gunning down blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's police gunning down blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we not receiving any justice or peace. I want you to see that. So when Cain killed Abel, it was not two individuals like this. It was the Cainite nation killing up many Abelites, just like you see today. Cainite nation became the Edomite nation in the reincarnation, and the Abelite nation became the Israelite nation in the reincarnation. And now you see Edom killing the Israelites, just like Cainites back in the ancient time was killing the Abelites. And however, it was not two people. So this shit has not changed. You still see Cain killing Abel in these days and time. That's nothing but a police on the top of a brother. This image is nothing but a police, a cop on the top of a black brother, on the top of a Hispanic brother, on the top of a Native American man brother. There's no different than a police on the top of a black sister, or a Hispanic sister, or a Native American sister. This shit's still going on, guys. So hopefully I'm clearing up a lot and I'm alleviating a lot so you can truly see what's going on. Back into Blue Letter Bible. So in Genesis 4 and 8, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. Now let me correct it. This I should have read. And the Cainites talked with the Abelites, their brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that the Cainites rose against the Abelites, their brothers, and slew them. That's how it really supposed to go. Genesis 4 and 9. And the Lord said unto the Cainites, where is Abelites, thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Because the Cainites was jealous of the Abelites, because the Most High showed more favor to the Abelites than the Cainites. Anytime the Most High shows more favor to one nation than the other nation always tends to get jealous. And so the Most High showed more favoritism to the Abelites than the Cainites, and the Cainites became jealous and started killing a lot of Abelites up. And so when God addressed the Cainites and asked them a question, where's your brother Abel? He said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper? Because the Cainites was jealous because they supposed to been their brother, the Abelites' keeper. But God showed more favor to the Abelites. Genesis 4 and 10. And he said, what has you done? The voice of your brother's blood, the Cainites cried unto me from the ground. Now it's not talking about actually blood here. The blood represents the spirit. So he said, what has y'all done? What has the Cainites done to the Abelites? The voice of your brother's spirit cried unto me from the ground. So the blood represents the spirit. So it should have read the voice of your brother's spirit cried unto me from the earth. You see that? Genesis 4 and 11. And now are the Cainites, now are you guys cursed from the earth, which have opened her mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. Genesis 4 and 12. And when the Cainites, when thou tilleth the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto you guys her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall the Cainites be in the earth. Genesis 4 and 13. And the Cainites said unto the Lord, my punishment is greater than I can bear. You see that? So when you back up to Genesis 4 and 12, the Most High tells the Canaanites, when you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. That's why today, the Canaanites, which is the modern day Edomites in the reincarnation, that's why they heavily genetically modify all your foods. Because Genesis 4 and 12 talks about when these Canaanites, which are the modern day Edomites, when they till the earth, it shall not henceforth. See that? So you know what they do? They genetically modify everything. This is where the GMOs come from. The so-called white man back in the ancient time, which was the Canaanites, when he tilled the earth, it didn't henceforth. It didn't yield unto him. So he figured out a way how to speed up the process of vegetation and fruitation. And so he genetically modify everything, because when he tilled the ground, it don't yield to him. So he genetically modifies everything. See that? So guys, we're going to continue on. Genesis 4 and 13. And the Canaanite said unto the Lord, our punishment is greater than we can bear. Genesis 4 and 14. Behold, thou hast driven us out this day from the face of the earth, meaning that the Most High took the spiritual knowledge and enlightenment from the Canaanites from the face of the earth. Shall I be hid, and I shall be a fugitive? It should have been, and we shall be a fugitive. We shall be fugitives and vagabonds in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth us shall slay us. Now, why it says it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth us shall slay us? That's what the Canaanites said. Because the Abelites was very angry at the Canaanites for killing their descendants. So you know what? There was a war about to take place between the Canaanites and the Abelites. When the Canaanites killed some of the Abelites up, what the Bible says Cain killed Abel, the Abelites was ready to retaliate. So when the Canaanites does Cain kill Abel, when the Canaanites killed many Abelites up, the Abelites wasn't going for it. And the Abelites said, you know what? Blood for blood, life for life. Now it's time to retaliate. So when the Abelites got ready to retaliate against the Canaanites, this is what the Lord says. Genesis 4 and 15. And the Lord said unto the Canaanites, therefore whosoever slayeth, wait a minute, let me get it correct. The Lord said unto the Abelites, because the Abelites was ready to retaliate on the Canaanites for killing their descendants. So the Lord said unto the Abelites, therefore whosoever slayeth the Canaanites, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon the Canaanites, lest any finding him should kill him. So that lets you know that it was not 4 people in the Garden of Eden. It was not Adam, Eve, Cain, and Abel. There was more than that in the Garden of Eden. There was many nations in the Garden of Eden. Now, what nations we talking about? We talking about the Canaanites and the Abelites. The Canaanites and the Abelites, those are the 2 nations that came from Adam and Eve loins. So when the Canaanites rose against the Abelites to kill their descendants, the Abelites was about to retaliate and kill a lot of the Canaanites back up. And God intervened and stepped in between and says, if any of you Abelites slay the Canaanites, vengeance is going to be taken upon you Abelites sevenfold. And the Lord set a mark upon the Canaanites, lest any finding him should kill him. And that mark that he set upon the Canaanites was modern day vitiligo or leprosy, the lack of melanin. You see that? So Cain the Canaanites was the Edomites in a former life. And when Cain came back reincarnated, he came back as Esau, which became the Edomites to this day. You see that? So the Lord did not want the Abelites to retaliate upon the Canaanites, because the Canaanites killed the Abelites' descendants. And the Abelites was about to retaliate, but God said if the Abelites thought about retaliating and killing the Canaanites, vengeance would be taken upon the Abelites sevenfold. So the Abelites never retaliated on the Canaanites. And I'm going to tell you why he tells the Abelites, if you slay the Canaanites, vengeance will be taken upon you sevenfold. Now, why would God, or you would say the Lord, the Most High, why would he take up for the Canaanites and tell the Abelites if they think about touching the Canaanites, vengeance will be taken upon them sevenfold? Why would he do that? First and foremost, the Most High is not taking up for the Canaanites. The Canaanites. Not the Canaanites, but the Canaanites. The Most High is not taking up for the Canaanites. The Canaanites, they have their appointed time when death and destruction is coming to them as well. So he tells the Abelites, just hold your peace. Don't retaliate. Hold your peace. Just like today, the Abelites will be the Israelites. And the Canaanites today would be the Edomites, the white people. So he tells the Abelites, hold your peace. Because there's an appointed time where I'm going to pay back the Canaanites for what they did to the Abelites. I'm going to pay back Cain for what he did to Abel. I'm going to pay back the modern day Edomites for what they're doing to the Israelites. I'm going to pay back the white man for what he's doing to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hold your peace. That's why he tells the Abelites not to retaliate. And if they did retaliate, vengeance will be taken upon them sevenfold. So if a black, Hispanic, or Native American man think about trying to rise up and overthrow the so-called white man, which are the Edomites today, which back then was the Canaanites, vengeance will be taken upon us sevenfold as the Israelites. Did that not happen when Nat Turner caused a rebellion? When Nat Turner rebelled on the plantation against the oppressor, what happened to Nat Turner and the crew that rebelled against the slave owners? All of them was lynched. All of them was killed. Any black man, any Hispanic man, a Native American man, or woman, or child that tried to rise against the oppressor was killed. Because the Most High says in Genesis 4:15, he tells us, do not retaliate. Vengeance shall be taken upon us if we think about touching Canaanites. If we the modern day Edomites in the reincarnation, the modern day white people. If we think about trying to take matters in our own hands, vengeance will be taken upon us sevenfold. And that's exactly what happened to every black, Hispanic, and Native American man, woman, and child that try to overthrow the so-called white man. Because the Most High God he has an appointed time that he will pay back the Canaanites, aka the Edomites, also known as the white man. The Most High is going to avenge the Abelites, aka the Jacob, aka the Israelites today. He got an appointed time where he's going to fight for you. But it ain't for you to take matters in your own hand. If you do that, vengeance will be taken upon you sevenfold. That's what the Most High says. Now let me give you a precept of Genesis 4:15. Genesis 4:15, let me give you a precept of that. Revelation 12:19. This is why the Most High tells the Abelites don't retaliate on the Canaanites. Revelation 12:19. All right. Revelation 12:19. This is why he says it. I meant Romans 12:19. I'm sorry, guys. Romans 12:19. I am so sorry for that. Gave you guys the wrong book, chapter, and verse. Romans 12:19. Romans 12:19 says, dearly beloved. The beloved is the nation of Israel, the chosen people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Romans 12:19, dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place into wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, said the Lord. So you can see this is why in Genesis, the Most High tells the Abelites not to retaliate against the Canaanites, because he tells the Abelites if they was to retaliate against the Canaanites, he said vengeance would be taken upon them sevenfold. So just wait a while, basically. What the Most High was telling the Abelites, don't retaliate against the Canaanites for killing your brother. Just wait a while, because I'm going to avenge you Abelites, and I'm going to pay back the Canaanites. Romans 12:19. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself, but rather give place into wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay, say the Lord. So we can see this is exactly why in Genesis chapter 4, verse 15, it says the Lord said unto the Lord said unto the Abelites, therefore whosoever slayeth the Canaanites, vengeance shall be taken upon him sevenfold. You see that? So the Abelites were supposed to wait a while until judgment comes down on the Canaanites from the Lord. And that's what we're doing today as the nation of Israel. We're not retaliating. We're not trying to go out and overthrow the police. We're not trying to overthrow the military branch. We patiently waiting, for the Most High to avenge the death of the saints, because we know that he will pay back these Canaanites, aka Edomites, white people. And he will avenge you Abelites, aka Jacob Israelites, you blacks, Hispanics, and Latinos and Native Americans. So vengeance is the Most High, and he will repay. So why would he say vengeance is his in Romans 12:19, and he will repay? Because Sirach, the book of Sirach 39:28. Sirach 39:28 in the Apocrypha. So let's head over to there. This is Sirach, or some may say Ecclesiasticus, in the Apocrypha 39:28, King James. Why did the Most High says in Romans 12:19, vengeance is mine, he will repay? This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 39:28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So you can see right there that there are evil spirits, man, that are created for vengeance, to pay back people for their crimes, for their destruction. You see, so Sirach 39:28. That is a precept of Romans 12:19. Dearly, in Romans 12:19, it says, dearly beloved, avenge. The beloved is the Israelites, going all the way back to the Abelites. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself, but rather give place into wrath, for it is written, vengeance is mine, and I will repay. That's Romans 12:19. This is Ecclesiasticus, aka Sirach, in the Apocrypha 39:28. Here's the cross reference. There'll be spirits that are created for what? Vengeance. So the Most High has spirits on his left-hand side that's created for vengeance, to pay the individuals back whosoever carried out the murder. So this is why he tells us to patiently wait, man. Because he already got spirits that's created to pay back those individuals that's carrying out rape, robbery, and murder on us. Like the so-called white man, the Edomites that's carrying out murder on the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are the Israelites. That's nothing but the Canaanites still to this day violently brutalizing the Abelites. He tells Abelites, don't take vengeance on the Canaanites, because if you take matters in your own hand, vengeance is going to be taken upon you sevenfold. So the best thing to do is just to wait a while, man, because vengeance is mine, I will repay, and there'll be spirits that are created for vengeance to carry out destruction on these Canaanites, aka Edomites. So what we supposed to do? Wait a while. Wait on the spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay sore strokes in the time of destruction, and they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. So we sitting around waiting on you Canaanites. We are the Abelites, also known as the Israelites today. They're sitting around waiting on you Canaanites, also known as the Edomites today, to be destroyed. We're not taking matters in our own hand, because we know that vengeance will be taken upon us sevenfold. And we should have learned that from what Nat Turner tried to do on the plantation, when he tried to overthrow the oppressor, and vengeance was taken upon him and his people sevenfold, and any other black man that rose up against the white man to try to overthrow the oppressor. All right, guys. So, yeah. I just wanted to bring that forth. When they tell you that Cain killed Abel, it was not two individual people in the garden. Actually, Cain represented the Canaanite nation, and Abel represented the Abelite nation. Instead of Cain killing Abel individually, you had a whole group of Canaanites that was killing the Abelites up. All right, guys. That's what was truly going on. The Most High has spirits, man, that's created for vengeance. This is First Chronicles 18, beginning with 18th verse. First Chronicles 18, beginning with the 18th verse. Concerning the Most High has spirits that does his bidding, man, that pay back individuals. I believe this, is it Second Chronicles? No, it's Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles 18:18. Once again, forgive me, guys, for giving you the wrong book, chapter, and verse. Second Chronicles 18:18. I'm going to show you that the Most High has evil spirits, man, that does his bidding. Second Chronicles 18:18, and then I will close out. Thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for your patience. Second Chronicles 18:18. And again, he said, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. Now, this is what Micaiah said. Micaiah the prophet. This is what he told Ahab, man. Second Chronicles 18:18. Again, he said, Micaiah said, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting upon his throne and all the hosts of heaven. Now, who is the hosts of heaven? The angelic creations. All right. Standing on the right hand and on his left. So you got certain angels, like you got evil angels that is on the left hand side of the Most High's throne. And you got righteous angels that is on the right hand side of the Most High's throne. Second Chronicles 18:19. And the Lord said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel? Now, Ahab was the northern king of Israel. All right. So Ahab was the northern king of Israel. You have to read chapter 18 of Second Chronicles. Ahab was the northern king, and Jehoshaphat was the king of Judah. Second Chronicles 18:19. And the Lord said, who shall entice northern kingdom king of Israel? Because that's when Israel was a divided nation. Who shall entice Ahab, the northern kingdom king of Israel, that he might go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead, that he might go up and die, in other words, because Ahab got killed at Ramoth Gilead in a battle, right? So the Lord said unto these spirits, this is what the Most High is saying unto these angelic hosts, because a spirit is nothing but a disembodied person. When you die, you become a spirit. Now, when you die, if your spirit ain't right, then that would determine when you become a left-hand angel or a right-hand. If your spirit ain't right with God, most likely you become a left-hand angel. If your spirit is right with God, you become a right-hand angel. So when you depart from the body, you become a spirit to return back to God who gave it. Now, when you return back, according to how you live your life, will regulate for you to be a left-hand angel or a right-hand angel. If you live your life righteously, may peace and blessings be upon you to depart on the right-hand side. If you live your life, ruggedly and sinisterly, then you're gonna depart to be on the left-hand side. And the Lord said to these angels, these spirits, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he might go and get killed at Ramoth Gilead? And one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Second Chronicles 18:20. Then there came out a spirit. See that? So the Most High controls these spirits, whether they good or bad. Then came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? Second Chronicles 18:21. And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. So when a person is telling lies, when a person is a compulsive liar, that's a spirit sent from the Most High. He said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in all the mouth of his prophets. So when you see a false prophet telling lies, that's a lying spirit sent from the Most High, man, on the left-hand side. And the Lord said thou shalt entice him. So the Lord gave his spirit permission to go down and entice. And thou shalt also prevail. The Most High said, and you won't fail in the midst of succeeding. Go out and do so. So who gives these spirits, whether they good or bad, charge to take over the individuals down here? The Most High. See that? 2 Chronicles 18:22. Now therefore, behold, the Lord had put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. And the Lord has spoken evil against thee, because in the days of Micaiah, you had lying prophets, man. And these lying prophets was telling lies heavily. So where did that spirit comes from that jumped on these lying prophets? It came from the Most High. They came from the spirits on the left-hand side of the Most High. You see that? That's what we're trying to tell you. Satan ain't running shit. The devil ain't running shit. All spirits comes from the Most High, whether they're on the left-hand side or the right-hand side, man. Just like when the Cainites killed a lot of Abelites up, the spirits from the left-hand side of the Lord came down upon the Cainites to kill a lot of Abelites up. The Most High tells the Abelites, don't retaliate. And your patience possess your soul, because if you retaliate against the Cainites, vengeance is going to be taken upon you sevenfold. So what the Abelites are doing? The Abelites are sitting around patiently waiting on justice, waiting on the Lord's justice to reign upon the Cainites, aka the Edomites, to this day. We're not taking matters in our own hands, because we know the Most High controls everything. The spirits on his left-hand side as well as the spirits on his right-hand side. This is why he tells us this in Revelation 19, man. Revelation 13, I believe. Let me see. Revelation 13. Yeah, Revelation 13:9, man. This is why the last book, chapter and verse, guys, and I'm out. Revelation 13:9, man. Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Followed up by Revelation 13:10. He that leadeth in captivity shall go in captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is patience and the faith of the saints. Why did the Most High say here is patience and the faith of the saints? Because we are not to retaliate. We're not to take vengeance on our foes. We're not to take vengeance on the enemy. We're not to take vengeance on the oppressor. We're not to take vengeance on the Cainites. We're not to take vengeance on the Edomites. We're not to take vengeance on the so-called white people. You Abelites, which are the Israelites, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you're not to take vengeance on the Cainites, aka Edomites, white people. Because if you do that, vengeance will be taken upon you sevenfold. So what you do? We wait patiently. Here's the faith of the saints, knowing that he that do the same thing to us shall be done to him, man. Another wonderful lesson on the behalf of S.F.I.A Foundation. Appreciate you guys' time. Please like, comment, subscribe. Share the video with family and friends. Wake up others, edify others. And remember, peace and love and much blessings to you all. Shalom.